So The Bridge Home by Padma Venkatraman. Oh, I feel like I said that wrong. Venkatraman. So I had met Padma at the New England Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators because we were all signing books and it was alphabetical. So I ended up sitting next to her because I'm a W and she's a V, and then we ended up having dinner together because I had found out that she had just gotten a New York Times review of her book, which was, so exciting and thrilling that we just wanted to celebrate it. And for the first time I met her, and like, she's just like such a delightful, interesting person. So she had told me like she's not like out of all the like there's a lot of South Asian, especially female authors, and she's friends with all of them. I feel like, but she said like her upbringing was really different because for a lot of the Indian Americans who are here in the United States, they kind of come over as sort of really elite, well educated, coming from maybe upper middle class or wealthy families. And she said, even though like she's actually a PhD scientist, marine biologist, and obviously besides being this kind of incredible marine biologist, she also is a really talented writer. I think this is her fourth book, and her other YA books have won, I think, like 14 starred reviews. And so like clearly like like right and left brain are fully functioning, if not like she's incredibly talented. But she said what was different about her upbringing is that she grew up with a single mom, and so I didn't get all the details about that. Like I'm not sure if the father was abusive and they left sort of for safety, and her mother sort of had to survive on her own, or if they were divorced. I just know that her mother raised her on her own in India, and so they didn't have, they didn't have the benefit of of a spouse who supports them, and I think financially it was just a lot tougher. But despite not being wealthy in India, her mother and Padma, they did a lot of charity work. So despite not having the most, they still spent all this time helping kids and women and families who had far less than they did. And so the result of those experiences are tied into this book. And when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, Bridge Home, India, homeless children. I thought, oh, that's going to be hard to read because I have it's hard for me to read sad stories, and it just sounded like, oh my God, that's going to be a sad story. But in fact, it really isn't. It is actually such an uplifting story. This book is about 200 pages, and it is. So she has two sisters. So there's a older sister, and then the younger sister is on, I think, like on the autism spectrum, and so has some intellectual disabilities. And the father is abusive, and the mother, won't leave the father because of her beliefs of her vows for marriage. And so she, the first time Viji, yeah, that's gets physically abused by her father. Like, she takes her little sister and they just run off to be homeless children in India. And despite that, like, oh my God, right, that's so difficult and so sad. But despite that, they actually survive. They meet two other boys and they sort of form like a family, and they all look out for each other. And while there's like literally danger everywhere, there's so much kindness from strangers that kind of help them out at crucial times, that they kind of, you see all the tragedy around them, and Padma sort of unflinching in introducing it, but also in a very middle grade way. It's not it's it's there to see and understand, but as a reader, you're not traumatized by it, because you're really sort of emotionally invested in these four characters, and there's a lot of hope and resilience, and and things work out for them by like a miracle, but not really. It's really from the kindness of strangers and from their own um, from their own sort of ability to form friendships and just sort of cope. But it is really an incredible book. It's it's getting tons of accolades, well deserved, and it's part of, I think, like World Read Aloud, and it definitely is a book that like everyone should read, every child, because you get so much out of it. You understand what it looks like in India, if you're if you're impoverished, but you also get this beautiful story of hope and kindness and love, and how to find family where you would least expect it. So anyway, highly recommend this, and congratulations to Padma for her first middle grade, and really such a powerful one. All right, thank you so much for watching.